Good morning, my dear students. Today's topic of discussion is drug invention, new drug development, and clinical trials. A new drug is defined as a new substance of chemical, biological, and biotechnological origin for which adequate data need to be generated and submitted to the regulatory authority in order to judge its efficacy and safety for the proposed claim. So, in India, the new drug applications are reviewed and approved by Drug Controller General of India, that is called DCGI office, under Central Drugs Standard Control Organization, abbreviated as CDSCO. Even the marketed drugs which we are purchasing every day, they are considered new if there is change in their dose, route of administration, indication, or if they are combined with other drugs as a fixed dose combination. Now, how will you start this invention of new drug? It starts with basic research and it starts with synthesis and examination. Now, how this synthesis will start? Thus, with the parameters are such that new areas have been developed to collect, store, and interpret the information generated. For examples like bioinformatics, chemoinformatics, functional genomics, and these are being done with the help of high content screening. This is one of the most popular technique. This has been done. This has been invented due to the advancement in cell biology and receptor technology. These are helped in developing automated screening systems. And as I said before, that the most popular technique today is high content screening. Now, thus, with the help of this computer aided drug design system and high content screening, hits and leads are invented. Now, hit spelling is HIT. A hit is a molecule with confirmed structure, confirmed activity in primary throughout screening, and a good profile in secondary assay. Whereas a lead, that is LEAD, lead is a hit series with proven structure activity relationship both in vivo and in vitro. That means in vivo means inside your body, in vitro means outside your body. So the leads are after being invented, they are being tested by the pharmacological methods to determine their efficacy and safety, initially in animals and then later on in human beings. That is being depicted as phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4. These phase 1 to 4 are known as clinical trials, and this is a prospective, ethically designed investigation in human subjects to objectively discover, verify or compare the result of 2 or more therapeutic measures. And these type of studies are called interventional studies. Here you are interventioning a human being. Whereas there are some kinds of observational study which are also clinical studies. Those studies are called case control, cohort and cross-sectional studies. So studies are classified into two types: the interventional and observational. Interventional, one of the example is obviously the animal studies are there, but in human it is the clinical trial. It can be randomized with blinding. By the term randomization, we mean the subjects are allocated to either group using a pre-selected random number table or computer program, so that any subject has equal chance of being assigned to the test or control group. Whereas the blinding means this refers to the concealment of the nature of the treatment, test or control from the subject, or both the subject as well as the investigation, that is called double blind. Single blind means you are just blinding the subject. If you want to blind even the person who is assessing the result, then it is called triple blind study. So most of the clinical trials are, the best possible clinical trials are randomized control, double blind or triple blind trial, and these are the most credible method of obtaining evidence of efficacy and safety and comparative value of treatments. Now, what is the objective of animal study, which took around 10 to 20 years in case of any drug in the preclinical test. These type of studies, these animal studies, are basically conducted in different types of animals, and these animals are again depending on, it is depending on the synthesizing and identifying a prospective compound, and these are tested on animals to expose the whole pharmacological profile. Once the lead and hit series is being done, we specify our objective of animal studies, and these objectives are to evaluate efficacy, toxicity, that means the safety, the receptor selectivity, mechanism of action, and pharmacokinetics. So generation of pharmacokinetics data during the toxicity study is called toxicokinetic data, and it helps to relate doses and systematic exposures achieved with toxicological findings. Now, what are the tests which are being done in case of animal studies? The screening tests, these are simple and rapidly performed tests to indicate presence or absence of a particular pharmacodynamic activity. Test on isolated organs, the bacterial culture, tests on animal models of human disease, confirmatory tests and analog activities. There are systemic pharmacological tests in the cardiovascular, respiratory, renal on different systems. Quantitative tests, the dose response relationship, which will show you probably in the CAL, that is computer assisted learning system. Pharmacokinetics, that is the pharmacokinetic study, and rather the bioequivalence study, the absorption, volume of distribution, metabolism, excretion. These are all done in animals. We are not talking about the clinical trial at the moment. The toxicity test, the aim is to determine safety of the compound in at least two animal species, one rodent and the other one is non-rodent. So the non-rodent is a mouse, rat, and the rodent and non-rodent, sorry, and the examples are mouse, rat and dog. One is rodent and the other one is non-rodent, and usually it is done by two different routes, the oral and the parenteral route. Now the toxicities are of various types. Acute toxicity, a single escalating dose are given to small group of animals and that are observed for overt effects and mortality for 1 to 3 days. During my post graduation, I have done it on rats, and I have injected one carrageenan, that is an inflammatory agent, to see the acute toxicity on the animals. So that was done within 1 to 3 days, and I have seen the mortality, so it is done in 1 to 3 days, followed by and obviously you have to calculate whether that dose is killing 50% of the animals or not. That is called LD50. And once, if the drug is going to be marketed, LD50 is not going to be valid, it is going to be LD99. We will discuss what is LD99 or LD50 later on while discussing pharmacodynamics. LD stands for lethal dose. Subacute toxicity, it repeated doses are given for 2 to 12 weeks depending on the duration of intended treatment in man, and doses are selected on the basis of ED50 and LD50. ED50 again stands for effective dose. So ultimately we are getting LD50 by ED50 ratio, that is called therapeutic index. Again, as I said, we will discuss this part in pharmacodynamics. Chronic toxicity. The drug is given for 6 to 12 months and effects are studied as in case of subacute toxicity. This is generally undertaken concurrently with early clinical trials. Then you have to see the reproduction and teratogenicity test, that means whether it is causing any harmful effect on the fetus or not. Effect on spermatogenesis, reproduction means on spermatogenesis, ovulation, fertility. You have to go for the mutagenicity test, that means the ability of the drug to induce any kind of genetic damage, and it is assessed in bacteria, that is called AMASE test, AMES, that is the AMASE test, the mammalian cell culture. And lastly, the carcinogenicity test, whether the drug is given for a long time and causing any kind of carcinogenic effect on the animals or not. A standardized procedure under good laboratory practice, that is called GLP, have been laid down for the conduct of animal experiments. Now, from preclinical trials, we are entering into the arena of clinical trials, that is phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 and phase 4, and respective years required for this is being mentioned over there. There are certain drugs for which you may take 5 to 10 years. For phase 2 it's around 2 to 5 years. Phase 3 is not 2 years, but sometimes it's taking that much of time. And phase 4 is also known as post-marketing surveillance. So these are the 4 phases during which you will see different types of clinical trials. Now, phase 1 trial is usually done on the human being and on the healthy volunteer. Just think about this invention of COVID vaccination. So initially this was being tried on the healthy volunteers, the people like us who have had no COVID, and they have volunteered themselves for that inactivated vaccine. Usually 30 to 40 patients are taken, as the range is from 10 to 100. But initially it was done by the pharmacologist, nowadays it is done by the person who is in general medicine. First, the human administration of the drug is carried out by the qualified clinical pharmacologist trained physicians, and the setting was such that all functions are monitored and emergency facilities are available. Subjects are exposed to the drug one by one and starting with the lowered estimated dose. Now, even with that, we have seen there are some kinds of toxic effect. In 2006 elephant TSS trial, we have seen with phase 1 trial, even with the therapeutic dose, in healthy volunteers, there was necrosis of hand and foot with one drug, and after that they have started giving even lesser dose than the therapeutic dose. So one trial was coming even before phase 1, and that is called phase 0 study. That phase 0 study is also known as microdosing study. It's a new strategy developed to reduce the cost and time of drug development process. The rate of rejection of the candidate drugs at various stages of clinical development has progressively increased recently. This has alarmed FDA these kind of toxic effect even during clinical trial 1, because you are doing it on the healthy volunteers. It's alarmed the FDA and European Medicines Agency to encourage novel cost cutting approaches in drug development. So one such tool is the microdosing human study undertaken before phase 1 trial, and hence it is called, again I am repeating, phase 0 study. Now that was followed by the phase 1 done on healthy volunteers. Mostly we are seeing the safety data. It's an open label study, that means no blinding, nothing happened in here, and safety and tolerability is the primary criteria which we are looking for. It will be followed by the second part of clinical trial. It is done on the patients, that is usually done on 50 to 500, but again it is usually restricted to 100, 150 like that. And this is also known as therapeutic exploration study and dose ranging. And this involves 100 to 500 patients selected according by specific inclusion and exclusion criteria. Primary aim is to establish the therapeutic efficacy. Here you are talking about whether the drug is effective or not. In phase 1 trial, we are talking about safety. Safety parameter was the primary concern, and for that we are taking 1 to 2 hours. Whereas for this one, for phase 2 trial, we are taking about 2 to 3 years, and efficacy is the primary thing, but we are also seeing the tolerability and pharmacokinetics property. That means we are also seeing the safety of the data. This is usually randomized and controlled and maybe blinded. So that thing is being seen in case of phase 2 trial, that is also known as therapeutic exploration study. That one is being followed by placebo control. That means another arm is there. One group is getting drug and another group of people is getting some kind of placebo. That means the one which is not having any kind of therapeutic effect, lozenge like things, and nobody will know which one is getting drug, which person is getting drug, and which person is not getting. And obviously the people are being randomized, but in every trial it is not possible. There drug is being compared with a standard drug. Now this study is also known as therapeutic confirmation or comparison study. 500 to 1000 student patients, and this is an indoor study, obviously done on patients. So phase 2, phase 3, these are all done on patients. Phase 1 is done on healthy volunteers. There is one exception. In case of anti-cancer drugs, you can see that anti-cancer drugs are sometimes done on patients even in case of phase 1 trial. But in phase 2 and phase 3, these are obviously done on the patients. And phase 3 trial is a indoor based study. Patients are admitted in most of the cases. We are confirming efficacy in larger populations. So almost 1000 to 3000 patients are taken for that. The aim is to establish the value of the drug in relation to the existing therapy. Safety and tolerability are assessed on a wider scale, while pharmacokinetic studies may be conducted on the sum of the participants to enlarge the population base of the pharmacokinetic data. Therapeutic use are formulated, and at this phase, phase 3, a new drug application is submitted to the licensing authority like FDA in case of USA. Here you may send it to DCGI, Drug Control General of India, who If convinced, give you the marketing permission. Unless you are getting marketing permission, it is a trial drug. So now you know the COVID vaccination, especially Covaxin, is in the phase 3 trial. Even we are getting Covishield after getting data from the phase 3 trial, and we are all taking Covishield and Covaxin. Now the data is going to be generated from there is going to be the last phase, that is the phase 4, and that is called post-marketing surveillance or data gathering studies. In this phase 4, after the drug has been marketed for general use, practicing physicians are identified through whom the data are collected. The participants are many thousands, as you know, even in crores in case of COVID vaccine in India. Patients in treatment with the approved, because these drugs being approved by DCGI. Here, the COVID vaccines. So open label study. The adverse events, compliance, drug-drug interactions may happen, and that should be reported. And that is part of pharmacovigilance, which I will take that part in my next lecture. And uncommon idiosyncratic adverse effects that may occur only after long-term use, but in vaccination it may occur immediately. So the patients treated in the normal course form of the study population, and patterns of drug utilization, additional indications may emerge from the surveillance data. So whatever the data is being generated, that should be stored, and that should be that should be taken by the pharmaceutical company and the drug authority to understand the nature of the drug. Further, the therapeutic trials involving special groups like children, elderly, pregnant women, patients with renal and hepatic disease may be undertaken at this stage. Here, in case of COVID vaccine, we know that we can't use it on pregnant women. We can't use it less than 18 years of age. These are called the contraindications of a drug therapy. That means a drug cannot be prescribed in these patients, in these individuals. And with this, I am concluding my presentation on new drug development and clinical trials. Thank you so much.